mother pleaded. So he went into his room. So he went and he changed his clothes. He put his durag on and everything else. As he was about to go, the mother held his hand. He says, Sonny, he called him by his name. Please, at least let me pray for you. So the guys in the car started hooting, just to say we are almost late. Then he says, Mama, I know you. You say you are a prayer warrior. You pray very long prayers. My friends are waiting for me. Let's do this. Pray for me tomorrow when I come back, because now I have to go. So he let off his hand as he opened the door, and then because there were two of his friends in the car seated in front. Then there were three ladies at the back. So the mother said to him, okay. At least if you're not going to go with a prayer, please, at least go with Jesus wherever you are going. So he looked outside the car and then looked at his friends and then looked at the mom and says, Mommy, there's no space for Jesus in the car. It's almost full. He says, please go. And he says, unless if Jesus can, he said it jokingly, unless if Jesus can fit in the boot, then he can come with us where we are going. So the mother says, by the way, as long as they jumped into the car, they hit the volume so high, they did a 360, boom, and then they went. Around 10 in the evening, the mother kept on opening the curtains to check if the boy is gone, and then she slept a little bit. After some time, she went and checked into his room just to check if he had arrived, and then he realized that he had not arrived. She had ironed his clothes and everything and put, everything, and then she closed it. She said, maybe, since these are boys, maybe he'll come in the twilight hours of the morning. She went to sleep. The following morning, the custom in our place in Africa is, there are mothers who go to church as early as 6 a.m. They go for prayer band, then they do teachers meeting, they carry their food because they spend the whole day at church. So she picked a hymn book, picked the Bible, picked the basket of food with 2 plates, hers and her son's. She went out of the road, down the road, going to church. As she was passing, a lot of people were discussing, but then looking at the main headline that was on the tabloid of the day, which is called Herald. So it wrote mysterious death and car accident. So she also just checked and then she went her way. But people were discussing the mystery of the accident. As they were discussing, they were talking, this accident, it was so fatal that no one survived. The car was crushed and almost became the size of a cardboard box. And it was a BMW Z3. Crashed inside a haulage truck. But that's not the story. It was the mystery of the crash. People were wondering, why? When the car was smashed to that extent, everyone in the car perished, except for a crate of eggs that was in the boot. So to everyone, it was a mystery. When the mother, later in the afternoon, people at church were discussing it. Have you heard the car crash? What happened? No, this, what? But it's a surprise. Just the eggs in the boot. None of those 30 eggs were crushed. It became a story. It was only later in the afternoon that the mother discovered the car they were talking about is the car her son was in. Now listen very carefully. When it was burial time, she was heard crying that my son relegated Jesus in the boot. For a God of heavens to protect eggs when there were people created in his own image, because they thought of putting Jesus in the boot.